Good morning, everyone. This is Yi with Casa Dreams, and we are bright and early today. We are at one of my properties, a lot that we're going to use to build a client home for them. This is the client that will be swapping properties. I'll be taking over their property in town, and I'll be building them a new home here. So we're at the lot today. They are going to perk test today, and that's why we're here so early. These guys are awesome. These are great contractors. They start super early. So I'm gonna walk through the process a little bit on the perk test and the process on how to get that done here in Arkansas, and what is required before you can start building on an estate lot. Talk you through the process, what was done, and what we're currently doing today, so that you get an idea. You can follow me on home building here in Arkansas. So basically what they're starting to do is that today they're looking for corner pins. So see that orange one? That's a corner pin, and they're trying to line up to the corner pin over there. The same thing, this corner over here and this corner over there. Also, before they even came out, they called 811 utility and to come mark. So blue here is the water line, you can see, before they start digging, because they need to dig a couple pit holes to study the table soil and how well that table soil saturates water, and so that they can determine what the number of bedrooms that you can put in on this property.
So we're marking these setbacks now, and then we're going to flag this out.
Try to stay within that.
And then we'll start working with the space we have.
Over there, okay. Yeah, we might change this up a little bit where the driveway don't go from the back side.
You might have
entry.
it come here instead.
From the front entry instead.
No problem.
Yeah.
What we will most likely do is we're going to start back here, and we're going to orient. We're just going to start laying out septic field, starting at the back part of the property, as close to that fence as we can.
Yeah.
And then after we lay out a couple of lines, it's not very sloped. These pink and blue lines are the contours. So you can see it's like pretty much a flat land.
Yeah.
So we'll lay these out on level. And then after we put down about 2 of them, Jeremy will dig the soil test pit.
Yep.
That'll give us a loading rate, which is basically how much water can you pour, or fluid can you pour on a square foot a day and think it's gonna like drain.
Sure.
And then we'll know how much do we need for the 3-bedroom.
Sure.
And then we'll lay out an alternate field, which unfortunately this structure is kind of right in the middle of everything. So I'm not sure how that's gonna play out yet.
Okay. That can be moved. I mean, they're gonna move it anyway.
Oh, totally. But septic absorption field has to be in undisturbed land.
Oh, I see.
So where that is out of the question. And up here in the front of the property, they had a big pigsty operation that ran, I think, from here all the way down this lot, or all these lots.
Okay.
And that was in the front. So that was like kind of right in here.
Yeah.
But that's what it used to look like. That's oriented like this. Okay. That's when it was, that's where the pig farm structure was.
Yeah.
So I think it's up here, but I kind of think it might be even with where, you see how you're, there's those 2 vehicles?
Yeah.
I think it might be right through there.
Oh, wow. Okay.
But if we dig in, basically, if the soil has been modified, then it's not going to drain the way that we expect it to. Sure. So we're engineering the system to drain based on known soil. And if the soil has been modified, then we can't guarantee it's going to work. So we try to avoid modified soil at all costs.
Yeah, so then more of the system will be more back there,
so
at least on this side.
We'll see how it plays out as we get a little farther along. Yeah, so a lot of our choices have to do with looking at historically what's been done on this land.
Sure.
A lot of our choices have to do with where is it naturally draining.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, here it's naturally draining onto the street. Right. Right. And then There's some other factors too.
Okay.
But.
Okay. So right now what they're doing is they are laying down, measuring where the house is going to be placed at. And this is how far back the property is, at least the start of the house. So that's what they're marking right now, is the house dimensions. And this is the one corner for the house. I think this is the corner, the other one, the beginning corner. So earlier I was mistaken. And I think that second pin over there is where the other corner of the house is going to be at. So would you consider these like the corner pins for the house, or do I need to actually to get a surveyor to come out here and do that?
I think this is pretty good. I wouldn't get first of it.
Yeah, so this is pretty much where the corner.
You see what we're pulling off of. It seems like this is going to get you within.
Yeah, yeah. So there's no need to pay another survey guy to come in and
it's
pin the corners,
right?
and yeah. So here's the corner pin. Yes. So pretty much these guys are marking the corner pin already. And now I don't have to get a survey to come out. And so the line that he's marking right now is the 10 feet from the property line. I think your septic lateral lines or anything with the septic has to be within 10 feet from the property line. So I think they're just marking that right now. So have you had it to where you come out and do all this, and they change where they're gonna put the house property in the?
Put it on the septic field. Yeah, we have one that's yeah, we have one right now that they put it on the septic field, and we're waiting to get a call back after they get told from the inspector.
Yeah, I think the building department's going to tell this one gentleman that you really actually can't build on top of where your septic field's supposed to go. We have all kinds of crazy things happen.
That's funny.
We finish the whole design and say your plans are ready for pickup, and they say, I don't want a 2-bedroom, I want a 3-bedroom, I want to move it to the back of the lot.
So all that's doing is shooting a laser that this reads.
Yeah.
Level.
Okay.
So this just tells me, this has a little reader right here that reads the laser.
Yep.
And it just tells me up or down. So the laterals have to be on contour, they have to be level.
Oh, okay.
So I'm just gonna put out this line so it's a level line.
I see.
And it's probably gonna go into the property line, then I'll come up 10 feet and then come back.
Okay. So typically the septic lines, you don't want it to be graded on a graded ground, you want it more level?
The lines have to be level.
Oh,
otherwise the water will run to one end of them.
Ah, I see. So your lateral lines, how many feet apart do they have to be?
8 or 10, depending on what the loading rate of the soil is.
It's a tiered system, so amount per bedroom is more for the first bedroom and less for the subsequent bedrooms.
Oh, okay. So like 100 for the first, and then you're probably doing like 80, 90 the second, and then it just kind of goes down that way.
Like, once you start adding a 5th or 6th bedroom, it probably doesn't have 2 full-time occupants.
Yeah, yeah.
That's just like a guest room.
Sure. Is this kind of where the lateral lines might be running this way?
This is where they should be.
Yeah. So how deep do you guys usually dig the hole?
2 feet wide, 3 feet long, 4 feet deep.
Okay.
Lifespan of a septic absorption field, 50, 75.
Uh-huh.
So they don't call it an alternate field anymore, they call it a secondary field.
Secondary.
First you use the first one, and second you use the second one.
So this would be the main one right here.
We don't know yet.
Oh, we don't know yet?
Yeah, we will install, most of the time, we'll either install the primary field in the one that has better soil, or in the one that is more logical.
I
So
see.
if it's like, 300 feet away from the house, but it has better soil, that doesn't mean it's better.
Yeah.
Because it's too far away.
Yeah, because that's kind of quite a...
So here we could go either way depending on the soil, but I kind of anticipate all the soil is going to be very similar.
Sure. What are you doing now?
Well, first we noticed that we didn't hit bedrock, which we weren't really expecting on farmland. Then, you know how runoff goes on the surface?
Yeah.
Right? You get a big rainfall and there's runoff and it just runs off.
Sure.
So if water goes down under the ground and hits rock, solid rock,
Yeah.
it'll do like a sheet of runoff there.
Uh-huh.
If it hits a change in texture, that's just like more solid rock, where it's like rockier,
Uh-huh.
it'll have a tendency to run off as a sheet of runoff.
Okay.
So what I'm looking at now is the evidence left by iron deposits in the soil, right?
Sure.
The soil has iron in it,
Mm-hmm.
that are basically rust.
Mm-hmm.
And the rust is going to show me, I mean, I'm simplifying here,
Yeah.
but the rust is going to show us where are those layers where the water just sinks in and then starts running sideways.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's what we're taking into account when sizing the system.
I see.
So I've marked one place where it does that right here.
Uh-huh. Yeah, it runs off from that.
Uh-huh. Yeah, now I'm looking to see, there should be kind of something else above that I'm looking for. So I have I guess technically what's going on here is I have a hypothesis that there's a moderate seasonal water table at 24 inches.
Okay.
And now I need to put down some kind of data on my paperwork that goes to the Department of Health. So I am proving, I'm telling them, what evidence do I see that's making me come to this conclusion. So this is the color book that is specifically created for soil colors.
Uh-huh. And what does that mean, each color?
Basically, depending on depending on what colors I find, so that color, it has a name, 10YR63 is called pale brown. So pale brown is there at that level, and that's my evidence that I have a seasonal water table. And what's interesting is that was not the evidence, right? I'm looking at my data, and I'm actually getting data that the water doesn't sit there as much as I thought it did. I was expecting it to be a moderate seasonal water table based on just looking without my color matching. But now that I'm doing my color matching, I'm seeing that gray color isn't actually, it's not gray enough.
Yeah.
Right? It's not gray enough.
Yep.
For it to be a moderate, it's more of a brief. So I'm still looking and seeing if I find another sample that looks more moderate-y, which I might have one right
here. Do we
here.
have to lay out the alternate on this one?
So this color here is a 10YR52. So that is a moderate 10YR52. So that will be the primary field. This will be the alternate. So we'll lay this one out with orange flags.
Well, your driveway and stuff was on that side.
Yeah, the driveway's gonna be on that side.
So this is where I put the stub out for the house.
Okay.
All the sewage will come out of here.
Okay.
This will have a clean out that you can be able to, if there's ever a clog in this line, you can clean up from here.
Yeah.
It'll have a little cap.
Okay.
So then it goes into a tank. It's gonna be a 1,000-gallon tank. It has to be 10 foot from the property line, and then it's gonna sit right here. This will hold the solids.
Okay.
It doesn't have a bath on it. It's just a solid tank that there's a line that comes in and it drops it in the middle. It allows everything that floats to float and everything that sink to sink. And then over here it'll pull out of the middle and it'll just pull fluid out of the middle.
Okay.
And then it'll flow down this way. Okay, this will be a distribution box. It's a concrete box. It has one inlet, and they'll have several outlets. There'll be 1, 2, I think 6 outlets.
Pressure manifold.
Oh no, this will be a pressure. Oh yeah, that's right. That's a pump tank. I'm sorry. That's a pump tank.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to pump the system.
Pump out here.
Yeah, so that's a that'll be a pump tank.
Yeah.
It'll have a baffle in it so
Yeah.
that it overflows into the second one, and then the pump's into the second chamber.
Okay.
And then it'll pump from that second chamber out.
Okay.
That way solids don't get to the pump.
Yeah.
And then this is going to be a pressure manifold. It'll be like a manifold on a car where it has one line in and then multiple lines out.
Yeah.
And then they put little washers in it, and then they drill out the washers different sizes for each line. That way it'll give less fluid to the short lines and more fluid to the long lines.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Okay.
So
Yep.
it's just like a bunch of hoses that come one line in and then a bunch of little hoses that come out. And it'll be a little round cap. and then we'll have to elevate it a little bit because it has to be highest point of the system.
Okay.
And then it'll just flow to each one of those.
So what we're doing today, we are, after the septic folks have come in and they set all the flags to where the septic is, where the house corners are, and how the septic lines are supposed to be. What you want to do is then you want to go get stakes, wooden stakes that is going to be pounded in place so that you don't lose those flags. Because if you lose those flags, you're mainly gonna have to hire those guys to come back out and reset those flags again. So basically what I'm doing here today with my superintendent over here is see the stakes right there? Yeah, that's what we're doing. We're pounding it in, and then we're wrapping or saran wrapping the flags onto the stakes so that if you need to cut grass or if there's wind or whatever, you don't lose it. And when the septic installers come out, they know exactly still where everything is and how they're going to run everything, so that you don't have to hire them to come back out again. So it's going to cost quite a bit, but if they have to come out, so I'd rather spend like 30-40 bucks buying these stakes and pounding them in, make sure that they're in place and you don't lose them. Hey guys, guess where I'm at? At the State Department of Health. I finally got my application submitted today. Hired the septic folks to come out and perk the land, and paid a good amount, 1,800 bucks. So here's some tips for you guys. It's totally worth to pay the additional cost. I thought that they were just going to design, perk the land, the lot, design the system, and give me the paperwork, and I would have to fill out the application and send it in to the Department of Health over here, the agency that oversees your application for a septic design before you can start building. That needs to get approved. And to my surprise, they got done on, I believe, yesterday, and they were quick. They got done real fast. They filled out the application, filled out everything, and handed it over to me this morning. And all I had to do was just go over to the State Department, turn it in, and that's it. They also gave pointers on how to potentially get your application approved much faster. They gave me a tip that I should go buy a box of donuts, a dozen of donuts, and that's what I did. So crossing my fingers, hoping that this be fast. They typically say it takes about 4 to 6 weeks, but the septic folks, the designers, have told me that they've seen about 1 or 2 week turnaround approval for the septic design. So once that gets approved, then I just submit that with my build permit to the city or the county, and I can start building once that gets approved. So I'm super excited and for my first build. So follow me on the channel, on YouTube, on Facebook, so that you can also learn the struggles and the process on your first build. Again, have a good holiday, and I'll see you guys on the next video.